We said leadership is the development of vision and strategies, the alignment of relevant people behind the strategies, and the empowerment of the people to achieve the vision despite obstacles. How do I empower people to achieve the vision despite obstacles? That's what you need. If you can't have it in this 21st century, in this digital era, what we call digital economy, you are going to struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, what would people know you for? What do you stand for? And what will you not entertain? If people don't know what you stand for, they'll take you for everything. What is character? Believing in and following a clearly articulated set of values. We come back to the concept of values again. That's character. Okay? And what does that mean? While competence is about knowing the right thing to do and how to get it done, character is about you, your belief system, and the values and how committed you are to them. So you need to define what your value systems are. What would people know you for? What do you stand for? And what will you not entertain? If people don't know what you stand for, they'll take you for everything. And that's not what leadership is. Leadership must be clearly defined. And that is what character is all about. So people want to know what you will do under any circumstances, and the only way they can predict that is by knowing your values and your motives and what you stand for. If people can't know that in advance, your character is flawed. When you become a manager, you behave differently. When you become whatever, you become, so your character is not consistent. That's not character. And people cannot trust you for a person like that. Your life must be predictable. People say, this is my life. It's my private life. No, a leader doesn't have divided life. Your private and your public life are the same, coming from the same entity. You. These are the challenges of Africa. The issue of integrity, character, trust. We can't trust people any longer. When they say A, they mean Z. And when they say white, they mean black. So it's difficult to predict. But we must change that narrative, guys. We must change that paradigm. And make sure that the young people who are following us can predict who we are. Because we are consistent. Remember what I said? Integrity is not a spiritual word. Integrity simply means walk your talk and talk your walk. All right? Okay, so guys, number 3, must have leadership skills for actionable results. This is what I want to end on. There are certain skills you are going to require if you want to have results as a leader. What must I do as a leader who want to have results? Who want to make impact? We said leadership is the development of vision and strategies, the alignment of relevant people behind the strategies, and the empowerment of the people to achieve the vision despite obstacles. How do I empower people to achieve the vision despite obstacles? I'm going to give you skills that you require that will help you to achieve that. All right? Now, you need to acquire the skill of influence. In every organization, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this diagram, you see that the concerns are bigger than the yellow diagram. The followers, the team members, have issues that left to them alone, the organization should collapse. The leader's role is to develop your influential skills so that eventually this yellow diagram would stretch and stretch and stretch to now overcome this angle, this gray area here. So the more you stretch your influence and lead people in the concept of how to beat the competition by knowing how to manage the costs and how to manage the quality standards and how to manage that the services you are providing out there into the public domain is of quality and appreciable by the customer, you are not going to be able to become an actionable person. So first you need to have skills to expand your level of influence. And if you cannot do that, then you're going to have challenges. And one of the ways to do that is going back to the concept of trust, character, and competence. Very, very important. And once you have got that, then the next you must do is to lead with a we and a co-create paradigm. A leader who always points the fingers at him when there is success, and not the we language, the we concept. That leader cannot go far. So what you do, ladies and gentlemen, is that we must say that no company can go anywhere if all the thinking is left to management. You're not going far. Why? Because we need to encourage and allow every team member to contribute their effort. Now look at this diagram here. It's called the iceberg of ignorance, or the ignorance iceberg. Look at it very carefully. Now, how many of you have been to a restaurant to eat? And when you went to the restaurant, the first question you asked was, who is the owner of the restaurant? How many of you do that? Do you care about the owner? You don't care. You want your food to satisfy your hunger. So the owner will never know the customer. So if there's a problem that the customer has, until the waiter tells the manager and the manager tells the owner will never know. That's what we call the ignorance iceberg. If you look at this iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, you realize that you have the top management, what we call the C-suite, or the strategic management leaders. Then you have the middle level management. The two are what we call the strategic people. Then you have the tactical level, where you have the lower staff. They do the tactical functions. Now, if you look at this diagram, ladies and gentlemen, executives see only 4% of the problems of the customer. Only 4%. Managers, who are the team managers and the team leaders, they see between 9 and 74% of the problems of the customer. But the people who see the problems of the customers are the staff, because they are into contact with the customer. This is what we are talking about here. And so if you are a leader and you don't involve your followers, your team members, you're going to have problems. You're going to lose out on the creativity of the other people in your team. And that's not what a leader wants. So we say that you must involve everybody in that team so that you can achieve the impact that you want to achieve. The final one is what I call systems thinking. You need to be able to acquire the skills of systemic thinking. Why? Because systemic thinking has become so critical in change management today. But look at this. Now, for many organizations, they say that if you have your strategy and you have your vision, you'll be able to achieve results. So this is what most people do. So you have your strategy, you have your vision, that's your core ideology, and your envisioned future, you can achieve your results. But let's look at it very carefully. How do you achieve results just by having a strategy and a vision? It doesn't work like that. What actually makes results achievable is based on the performance of the people in that organization. The skills, the competencies of the people, and the mindset of the organization. But listen, gentlemen, if we are going to base this only on their skills and competencies in the 21st century now, the company cannot enter into the innovation era. So what leaders do is that leaders create what we call culture, what we call the cult-like framework. This is the way things are done in this organization. And why do you create a culture? So that you can regulate the skills, the attitudes, and the behavior of the people in that organization. It is a culture that is going to regulate. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if we are going to be able to say that we shall get results in our organizations today based on performance without looking at the culture, it's going to be tough. Therefore, as we are thinking of changing our results when we go back, The question we must ask ourselves, if we need to reset, readjust, and refocus our company, what must we do? It means we must ask the question, are we going to change the strategy? Or are we going to change the culture? Or we are going to touch the attitude and the behavior of the people? I propose to you, ladies and gentlemen, in addition to doing everything like that, you must also start thinking about the systems. You need to align the HR system, you need to align the core values and the interdependencies in the organization to make it synchronized so that everything will be in tandem with the realities of the time. It's called systemic thinking. And if you cannot think systemically, and you remain yourself in a silo department, this is my department, that's all I'm concerned about. I was recruited as a manager for the HR. I only think about HR matters. My friend, you can't go far. You will not go far. Why? Look at something. Look at this. Let's say this is an organization. And let's say A is the HR department. In the analog era, before the advent of digitization, if you're a manager and you taught only about A in an organization, that is fine. Because there's no interconnectedness here. And you can have managers who go for management meetings and they will oppose each other because they want to have faith with the CEO. Today, ladies and gentlemen, this will not work. So today, again, if you have an organization like this, where you have A, and if I want to, whatever happens to A, look at this. Whatever happens to A would affect B, would affect F, would affect C, would affect E, would affect D. Because why? They cross. There's what we call cross-cutting bondage. Bonding of the departments. And so the manager of A must now begin to think and be interested in what is happening at B, what is happening at F, what is happening at C. So what we are proposing that today, for you to be able to make an impact and achieve results, you must think as a systemic thinker. Why? Everything that happens in the organization are intertwined. They're interconnected. And that's how leaders must think now. That is why if you're a lawyer, you must know a little bit about accounting. If you're an accountant, you must know a little bit about law. I'm not saying go to law school, but be interested in what is happening in the legal department. So that when you go for management meeting, you can predict, you can offer informed suggestions. This is how it works. Are we together so far? This is how it works. If you're a leader and you cannot embrace the skills for systemic thinking, believe you me, you are going to struggle. You are going to struggle. We shall look at how do I develop systemic thinking skills. Because that's what you need. That's what you need. If you can't have it in this 21st century, in this digital era, what we call digital economy, you are going to struggle. Ladies and gentlemen,